how you know if you got it, go and get to win and not conquer. I had to go out and get it without a sponsor. Kept it real, never crooked, yeah, that's honor. Now I can go out and get it how I want to. Hashtag blessed, I choose.
What is up, Rumble? What is up, YouTube? What is up, Twitter? Welcome back to the Ryan Matta Show. Today is Thursday, May 2nd. Great to see everybody this morning. Sorry, we're running a little late. Josh was going to be joining us, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it today, so we're just kind of winging it and throwing together a show last minute. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day. Do me a favor, smash that like button. How's everybody doing today? Good to see everybody. We're going to jump into a few topics. We're going to talk about MicroStrategy and how they keep buying Bitcoin. Michael Saylor bought another 122 Bitcoin last month. We're going to talk about Roger Ver getting arrested on tax evasion. We're going to talk a little bit about CZ getting 4 months in prison. And there's one more that I wanted to get into. Actually, there's two more I want to get into. I want to get into the Fed is still undecided about interest rates. And I want to get in with, I want to start with this article over here on bitcoinnews.com that states Bitcoin starts May with a bloodbath. Is the bottom in? So let's jump over here. Let me grab that one really quick and we'll start there. Let's do it. What do you guys say? Man, these are exciting times. I love it when Bitcoin comes down like this. And it's like that quietness before the storm. Everybody's doubting their decisions. Everybody that bought in at a new all-time high is really starting to question things. And as price comes down, they start getting afraid. They stop buying, it's always weird how you're just so highly incentivized to go buy more Bitcoin when it's at a new all-time high. And then after it comes down 25%, you're like, fuck, man. Like, you're all down in the dumps, but really it's just another buying opportunity. So Bitcoin starts May off with a bloodbath. Is the bottom in? Widespread sell-off in the Bitcoin markets resulted in market cap dropping by 6% in 24 hours after a bearish April. Now, what they say, sell in May, go away. After a bearish April, Bitcoin is facing a significant market sell-off, causing a drop in market cap by over 6% in the last 24 hours, now resting at $1.13 trillion. However, top market analyst Michael Von D. Pope remains cautiously optimistic, suggesting that Bitcoin's correction might be nearing its end. A potential rebound, notably, Bitcoin has recently plunged to over $56,000 mark, its lowest level since February 28th, underscoring the sincerity of this correction. As the latest data, its price stands at $58,800, making an 8% decrease since May 1st. Several market experts are coming up with their predictions on BTC's next move amid a rising uncertainty. The tumble of price from $65,000 to $56,000 left market participants in a state of panic and doubt about Bitcoin's future. Von D. Pope highlights that Bitcoin has declined by 20% from its recent highs, hinting that the possibility of further downside. He emphasizes that while a rebound is expected, the crucial range to monitor lies between 56,000 and 58,000. And he's got a little bit of chart over here. You guys can take a look at it. So Bitcoin sell-off price dips to 40K. Commenting on Bitcoin's bloodbath, renowned trader Peter Brandit predicts a potential pause for Bitcoin before its next upward rally. Brandit analysis suggests that Bitcoin could dip as low as the high 40s before resuming its bullish trajectory. The analysis notes the history of Bitcoin corrections since 2015, despite acknowledging a 25% probability of a market top for Bitcoin at 74,000. Brandit remains cautiously optimistic about the ongoing bull market. However, he warns of potential corrections accompanying the upward trend, with Bitcoin's price potentially correcting by over 25% from current levels. Notably, Bitcoin has not revisited the 40K mark in the past 3 months, further emphasizing its importance of Brandit's proposed pit stop. Now, traders facing significant losses. The downturn has left traders facing significant losses. As per the latest data from COINBASE, thousands of traders were liquidated in the past day, losing over $158 million in Bitcoin. It's a pretty big hit. It is important to note that the retest of the 56K range comes 2 weeks after the halving event on April 19th. Now, similar intense selling pressures were observed before the halving, with Bitcoin dropping to 60,000 from its recent all-time high at 73,850. Meanwhile, MarketWatch Rec Capital highlights that Bitcoin's drop marks the deepest retracement of 23.6% in this emerging bull cycle, mirroring the 22.9% retrace from early 2023. Now, despite this market analysis, maintained confidence in an imminent bullish comeback, he stated. Generally, there are two key takeaways about retracements in the current cycle. The closer Bitcoin gets to a 20% retracement, the better the opportunity becomes. The longer the pullback, the higher chance of an impending bottom will be reached. That's good news. That's good news for us, folks. That's really good news. That's kind of what we were expecting. Every time, in my personal opinion, every Bitcoin bear market or bull run, we always have these three, at least 2 or 3 really key pullbacks. And they're always 25 to 30%. So anytime you think you're in a bull run and you see Bitcoin pull back by 25%, I say actually start DCing in at 20. Anytime you see it pull back by 20%, you put some money into it. At 25%, you put more money into it. And at 30%, you pretty much have no choice but to go all in. That's what I think anyways. We'll see. We'll see. I keep buying. I don't really have a set time or schedule. Anytime I get a couple $1,000s, I normally just put it back into Bitcoin. So I bought 1,700 at I bought 5,000 at 73. I bought another 4,000 at 72. I bought another 5,000 at 70. I bought another 4,000 at 69. I bought another 3,000 at. I bought a lot at the 60 to 65K range, and I keep buying. I bought another 1,700 at 60,700 the other day. And I might buy another 1,000 today. We'll see. We'll see how much my bots are making. The Fed still undecided. Rates remain. Am I on the right page? Yeah, I'm on the right page. The Fed still undecided. Rate remains unchanged. The article delves into the uncertainty surrounding the Federal Reserve's decisions, particularly regarding Fed rate cuts. Jerome Powell ain't in a good position. In the world of finance, few events carry as much weight as Federal Reserve meetings. Let me zoom in here on this for a second. It's too small. There we go. Recently, the Fed's messaging has been anything but clear, leaving markets in a state of uncertainty, which normally the Fed doesn't do. They normally want to tell you where the markets are going to go and what they're going to do, so there's not any chaos. They like to drive the market in a specific direction. So this article analyzes the Fed's latest meeting, the report around it, and predictions surrounding its future decisions. Now, Fed rate cut meeting expectations. According to a report from various financial institutions, the Federal Reserve was expected to maintain its current interest rates during its most recent meeting. The announced decision was expected, making the 6th consecutive meeting without a change. Now, analytics are keenly awaiting clues from Fed Chair Jerome Powell on the future trajectory of rates, especially amidst concerns about inflation. Now, the Chicago Fed President, Austin Goolsbee, highlighted the uncertainty in Fed decisions, stating, so far in 2024, the progress on inflation has stalled. Has stalled. You never want to make too much of any 1 month of data, especially with inflation, which is a noisy series. But after 3 months of it, it can be dismissed. Now, the Fed meeting summary, rate hikes are unlikely. The Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell made waves in the financial world with his recent comments, sending the markets into a frenzy. His assertion that the next policy rate move is unlikely to hike was met with enthusiasm, igniting a rally across the board. It's hard enough to get the economics right here, Powell emphasized, stressing the independence of central banks from political influence, regardless of looming U.S. presidential elections. It's not what we're hired to do, says Powell. Says the man who just got exposed by James O'Keefe for basically trying to live his policy, his legacy was going to live up to being the man that stood up to Trump, right? So Jerome Powell tried to collapse the economy under the Trump administration for no reason but to hurt the economy and hurt Trump. And this guy's not political. Trust me, guys. Trust me. There's nothing political to see here. Clown world, man. If you guys haven't seen the James O'Keefe exposed video on the Federal Reserve, you should go watch it. Now, Powell focuses also turned to the balance sheet, assuring that the move to slow its reduction aims for a smooth transition, free from market turmoil, he explained. It really is to ensure that the process of shrinking the balance sheet down is a smooth one, he said. So as we're selling and dumping bonds and security on you retail investors, you peasants, as we're driving up the cost of everything, as we're trying to force you into unemployment, we're going to make sure it's as smooth as a baby's bottom for you guys. Addressing concerns about potential stagflation, Powell remains steadfast, stating, "I don't really understand where that's coming from." The man who said inflation was transitory doesn't know where the thought about stagflation is coming from. I don't really understand where that's coming from, citing a robust economic growth and manageable inflation rates. And this guy is a fucking clown, man. Our entire world is a clown. That's why I say this, like, it's just not real. We're not living in reality. These people aren't serious. You can't take them seriously. Here, let me just explain it. Let this man explain it. Here we go. Here we go. How about Peter St. Onge? She's a PhD over on X. We play this over on LFA, but if you guys weren't with us, this will help you explain what a clown show we're living in.
Last week, we got some ugly economic numbers confirming what I've been warning, that prices are jumping while the economy is grinding to a halt. As Business Insider put it, quote, "The U.S. economy may be barreling towards stagflation, an outcome worse than recession." That's quite the understatement. In fact, the last time we went into stagflation in the 1970s, we got years of double-digit unemployment together with years of double-digit inflation, and it took interest rates hitting nearly 20% to finally knock it out at the cost of twin recessions that at the time were the worst since the Great Depression. So forget Maestro Jerome Powell's soft landing. He may have screwed us all the way to the 70s. In fact, JP Morgan's CEO, Jamie Dimon, said just that the economy, quote, "looks more like the 70s than we've ever seen before." So first, the numbers. Last Thursday, the BEA released their estimate of first quarter real GDP, meaning how much the economy grew after inflation between January and March. It came in at just 1.6%, which is a huge miss. Goldman, for example, was predicting 3.1, while across Wall Street, they were looking for 2.4. Translating, that means the economy grew at barely the pace of population growth. In other words, we are treading water, stagnation. More than the number was the speed. So 1.6 is one heck of a drop from 3.4 in the previous quarter. Before that, back in autumn, real GDP was chugging along at 4.9%. Now it's 1.6. Keep in mind, even those rosy numbers last year were thanks to debt, both the credit card kind and the Washington kind. In fact, the debt kept going, the deficits actually got bigger, and here we are now at stagnation. So the real economy is shrinking just as fast as they pump out the trillions of deficit spending. Even worse were the PCE inflation numbers released on the same day. So PCE is the Fed's preferred way to count inflation since it usually looks better. Talked about PCE problems in previous videos, how it undercounts housing, overcounts government, and updates too frequently to actually measure the cost of living. But the Fed likes it for those very reasons. PCE grades on a curve, even if voters can see the truth at the checkout line. And yet, even PCE is now soaring, going from 2% to a, quote, staggering 3.7% annualized on the quarter. That's a near doubling of inflation in 3 months. For perspective, during the worst 12 months of Biden's inflation, PCE averaged 4.5% quarter on quarter. We're currently at 3.7, which is spitting distance of the worst of it. Markets reacted immediately, ramping up odds of zero cuts this year, meaning we're stuck with 7% mortgages, 8% HELOCs, and 24% credit cards. In fact, they could keep going up. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. This was the worst possible outcome for the Fed, screaming stagflation just when the Fed was fixing to pump out the easy money for Uncle Joe's election. Powell has already flipped to saying the Fed is, quote, in no rush to cut rates. In fact, Fed pundits like Larry Summers are warning the next move may actually be rate hikes. What's frustrating, of course, is the problem is simple. What's driving both inflation and stagnation is Washington and Washington alone. It's not 2008 or even 2001 when non-economic factors were hitting the numbers. No, this stagflation is intentional policy. They are addicted to spending, and it's crushing the economy. Unfortunately, given the spending is a uniparty project, don't expect relief unless we get some fairly dramatic changes come November. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
That is Peter St. Ange, PhD over on X. You guys can swing over to his profile and give this man a follow. He deserves it. He only has 178,000 followers, and this man is Johnny on the spot with about everything that he says. He's probably one of my favorite accounts to follow when it comes to the economy. And he's got another video he just put out. It says Biden wants 45% tax on capital gains, nearly half. That would be the highest in 111 years, and it would gut investments, right? Here's where they want to collapse the economy. Turns out little $60 billion for Ukraine or migrants weren't actually free. Why all the taxes? Because Biden also wants to ramp up spending to $7.3 trillion per year. That would be a 70% above Trump's final pre-COVID years. For all the rhino complaints about Trump's spending, he managed a couple $100 billion over Obama. Biden's pushing $3 trillion so far.
In case you have any savings left, they are about to get slashed in half. Joe Biden just proposed a 45% tax on capital gains, along with trillions in other tax hikes. That would be the highest rate in 111 years, which would ramp up the progressive gutting of our real economy. The Democrats have actually been pretty frank about using Washington's spending addiction to push for new taxes. Just last week, Biden proposed $7.3 trillion in spending, that's annual spending, along with $4.9 trillion of future tax hikes. According to my Heritage colleague Richard Stern, that works out to $36,000 in new taxes per family. In case you thought all those sweet little $60 billion nothings for Ukraine, or for illegal migrants for that matter, were free. For perspective, Trump's last pre-COVID year was $4.4 trillion in spending. He had bumped it 5%, a couple $100 billion in real terms from Obama, but Joe Biden wants nearly $3 trillion more, or a 70% hike. I personally will take 5% over 70% any day of the week. So yes, both parties spend like drunken sailors, but there's sailors and then there's pirates. A recent study from the Peterson Foundation tallied up the $4.9 trillion in new taxes. Most are carefully designed to hide the impact levied on corporate or capital gains or just high-income earners. Of course, every economist knows that corporate and capital gains are passed on to customers, workers, and shareholders' 401ks. Well, the history of income taxes shows that they use the rich to sell the tax, and then they immediately get to work redefining who is rich. To illustrate, when the income tax was first introduced in 1913, inflation adjusted, it only hit those making $100,000 a year at a 1% rate. And then the top rate of 6% hit once you made $15 million inflation adjusted. Now, of course, the income tax kicks in at minimum wage and tops out at 37% plus another 14% if you're in California. This shell game actually makes new taxes a lot more harmful because by hiding them, it makes for better headlines, but it means they are aimed directly at investment, which is the lifeblood of the economy. Without investment, forget growth. We can't even replace the factories and physical capital that wears out every year. So not only are you draining $5 trillion out of the real economy, you're taking it in the single most destructive way possible. You're pulling a tooth by going through the rectum. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. It's about to get tough out there for small businesses and investors caught in the crosshairs of a hungry federal government. Depending on your state income tax, you could pay north of 50% if you pass a family business on or sell it to retire. Note, capital gains doesn't make any allowance for inflation, meaning if your investments didn't grow at all, if it was all just inflation, you'll still pay 50%, even though you didn't make a penny. So far, Washington's spending addiction has mostly hit inflation. Now we are getting the other shoe to drop, gutting the real economy. If Biden gets his way, our capital gains tax will be almost double China's, while American companies would be at a tax disadvantage against not just China, but even Europe. In short, we're pawning the crown jewels to feed the addicts in Washington. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Pretty fucking nuts, isn't it? It's mind-blowing what these people have done to our country and our economy. That's why I say it's just almost not real at this point. I just felt like sitting down there for a minute. It's like, it's just not, you can't take these people serious. Now they're going to take away your constitutional rights. They're going to make the Bible illegal. Like, these people have lost all control, and it's just slipping away from them so fast that they can't keep up with it. Like, they've pissed off too many people in this country. Even the foreigners that are coming in are pissed off at the Democrats. They're like, fuck, they see this. This is a suicide mission. Every day there's more and more migrants that are like, yeah, we in the country, but we vote in Trump. Fuck, this shit is crazy, y'all. We want nothing to do with these fucking psychopaths. Well, hey, you know, it is what it is. It's just clown world, folks. Roger Ver arrested in charge with tax evasion case. Let's see what we got here. Let's bring it over here. There we go. Like I need to stand on one side. Here you go. Roger Ver, former Bitcoin advocate dubbed Bitcoin Jesus, now faces legal issues after being arrested for tax evasion relating to Bitcoin sales. Roger Ver, a prominent figure in the early days of Bitcoin, has recently made headlines for all of the wrong reasons. Once known as Bitcoin Jesus for his evangelism of Bitcoin, Ver now faces serious legal trouble as he was arrested and charged with tax evasion, accused of concealing significant gains from the sale of Bitcoin. This article delves into the details surrounding Ver's arrest, its implications for Bitcoin's community, and the broader lessons it brings. Early Bitcoin advocate facing charges, Roger Ver is an early Bitcoin investor, has been a vocal advocate for Bitcoin since its inception, known for his libertarian views and his passionate prominent of Bitcoin. Ver gained fame as Bitcoin Jesus in a Bitcoin community. The U.S. Department of Justice has charged Ver with tax fraud, alleging that he failed to report and pay taxes on his significant capital gains from the sale of Bitcoin. According to the indictment, Ver was accused of evading taxes on approximately $240 million in profit from Bitcoin sales in 2017. In total, Ver is alleged to have caused a loss of the IRS of at least $48 million, the indictment wrote. Complex legal situation. Ver's legal troubles extend beyond the allegations of tax evasion. The indictment also includes charges of mail fraud and filing false tax returns. These serious accusations have led to Ver's arrest in Spain, where he is awaiting extradition to the United States to stand trial. Roger Ver reaction and fallout. The news of Ver's arrest has sent shockwaves through the Bitcoin community. Many who have admired him as a pioneering figure in the Bitcoin are now grappling with the reality of his alleged misconduct. Some have expressed disappointment and disbelief, while others have condemned Ver for his actions. Although it has become some time since Ver has lost his early day reputation in Bitcoin sphere, he was known as Bitcoin Jesus, an early adopter and evangelist for Bitcoin, playing a significant role in the early development and promotion. He was very vocal and prominent of Bitcoin as a decentralized currency that could revolutionize finance. Ver invested in numerous Bitcoin startups and projects, earning him the reputation as one of the most influential figures in the Bitcoin community. However, as Bitcoin gained popularity, Ver began getting critical of Bitcoin scalability issues, and that sparked his journey from Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash. He believed his high transaction fees and small block sizes were hindering Bitcoin's potential for mass adoption. He advocated for larger block sizes to accommodate more transactions and reduce fees, which resulted in conflict known as the block size wars. When the Bitcoin community failed to reach a consensus on scaling solution, Ver became a leading figure in the Bitcoin Cash movement, which forked from Bitcoin in 2017. Bitcoin Cash aimed to address the scalability issues by increasing the block size, allowing for faster and cheaper transactions, reflecting Ver's vision for a more efficient peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Many Bitcoin advocates condemned this decision, citing the fact that increased block size would lead to a larger blockchain size, which will ultimately endanger decentralization, which is one of the most important features of Bitcoin. The big block sizes are bigger. You're storing more data. More data goes onto a node. Then you need a 2 terabyte or 4 terabyte or 5 terabyte hard drive to run a node, when in reality it should be a terabyte or less. But at the same time, storage is getting cheaper. So I don't know. Implications for the community. Veer's case serves as a stark reminder of the importance of compliance with tax laws. Yeah, it's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke. This government is printing money out of thin air. What the fuck do they need your taxes for? Like, that's how I look at this. I look at Veer as a revolutionary. I hope they abolish the IRS, and I hope they put the scumbags that arrested him in prison. These people are tyrants, man. They don't do anything to make your life better. They just make your life a living hell. And now Biden wants to raise the taxes on you peasants. I told you it's a war on the middle class. It has to happen. Enough people just have to realize like what's being done to our country, right? The same people that put Roger Ver in prison, right, are the same people that are funding this.
Cuidado, ayuden a los niños. Mis amigos aquí en Irapuato, Guanajuato. Acaba de pasar el tren boliche.
Not one of those people are in jail. Nope, not one of the NGOs who paid those people to come here are in jail. Not one of the politicians who passed the laws which are allowing these NGOs and our crooked government to circumvent the Constitution are in jail. Nope. But the guy who didn't give this government enough money of his taxes on the gains that he made on an asset they said that they told them that had no value. It was worthless. It wasn't backed by anything. So what are you taxing something that has no value? I thought Bitcoin was a scam. It was fake. It wasn't real. That's what you told him. So how are you supposed to make a man pay tax on something that you tell him has absolutely no value? I don't get it. The world is upside down, folks. And now it's going to be illegal for you to say F Israel or F Benjamin Netanyahu. That's illegal in America now, according to the new laws that your government can't wait to cram down your throat. That's why I say we just live in a simulation. We live in a freaking clown world. And the entire country is waking up. Not just a few people. Everybody's waking up. And they can't put the rabbit back in the hat now. It's just too big. There's just too many of us that are too wide awake that are saying F you. We're done with it. We're not going to put up with it anymore. These protests around these college campuses are just highlighting what an just complete fraud that our government is. And everybody can see it. And it's people that are not just Republicans. These are not MAGA patriots. These are just like your everyday American citizens. These are your moms, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, and your uncles. I interviewed somebody last night and I flat earthed them. I don't mean, I might have not flat earthed them. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he won't see the truth in it. He won't dive down that rabbit hole. But if he looks, he'll see the truth. And it took me maybe 2 seconds. Actually, it took me about 5 minutes. But everybody's seeing it. Everybody can see that everything they told us is a lie. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, when you went to school, what education, what college you went to. It's all a scam. It's all a lie.
America is such a scam. And I can't believe that I just ate it up. I just ate up everything they spoon-fed me for 35 plus years. I totally bought it. Like, our government has our best interest. Everything on the market must be safe. The more I learn, it's such a reckoning in my head right now. I totally bought all of the history textbook propaganda that the US was the savior, this force of good in the world. Like, no, we're not. No, we're not. We're an imperialist country that has slaughtered tens of thousands of people in their own selfish interests. And we're still doing it, and every politician is bought and paid for, and they've distracted us this whole time with the red versus blue so that we blamed someone else instead of them. And I feel like I'm a smart person, and I can't believe that it took me this long to piece it all together. Now that I have, I'm just horrified.
Welcome to the party, lady. I don't know who your name is, but welcome. Welcome. It's glad to have you on our side. And every day, that's what you're going to see more of. And that's why they have to do everything that they can. That's why there's this giant psyop around all these universities to strip away your freedoms and to take away your rights as an American citizen, because everybody's we're just done. We've seen so much of it. Now the cops are hunting down citizens that are outside of a university. Free speech is supposed to be free, folks. We should never give a government, a corporation, or anybody a power to silence you, because it's never going to be used in your best interest. It's never going to benefit you. It's always going to benefit the tyrants. You know? Scumbags, man. All of them. Look at CZ. This is the one that really gets me going. Binance founder, right? So the guy CZ, right? He's never done anything to hurt the crypto space. Not that I've seen. Binance has been Binance since day one. It pretty much allowed any crypto to launch on it. Not any crypto, but they had some small standards. They gave everybody around the world the ability to buy Bitcoin. I mean, what Binance did in 2017 for adoption, 2020 for adoption, huge. Then CZ decided to go to war with the globalists. So you guys want to play that game? I'm gonna kick USDC off of my exchange. And USDC is their golden boy. That was their central bank digital currency. That was how they were going to slide in the back door with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX and Solana. And they were going to launch all these projects that you had to have USDC to use in their ecosystem. And they were going to drive this global adoption and force you into a central bank digital currency, CBDC, USDC, backed by Circle. CZ said, you want to play those games? Kick rocks. Get your effing stablecoin off my exchange. And dealt a huge, probably the most detrimental blow to the deep state that any crypto CEO has ever dealt. And while dealing that blow, he exposes that FTX is getting looted. That FTX is manipulating the markets and selling Bitcoin they don't have. And he blows the warning sign. And we ditch. And then he saved millions of USA investors, including myself, a lot of money, by giving us that heads up and taking down Sam Bankman-Fried. So you're telling me the guy that took down the central bank digital currency, the guy that took down Sam Bankman-Fried, the guy that has never stolen a penny from any USA investor, this is the bad guy? This is the CCP plant? This is the money launderer? This is the guy that's allowing sanctions to happen? People to avoid sanctions, Iran to avoid sanctions? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you really supposed to believe that? It's a joke. It's all a lie. I don't even need to dig into this article. I don't need to hear anything about it. The man got 4 months in prison. Woohoo. 4 months. Time served. He'll be out in 2. Hell, he'll probably be in and out and processed in before he even spends a day in prison. And if he is, he's got billions of dollars. You know how good prison is when you got billions of dollars? You're eating fucking steak, lobster, every security guard in this corrupt. Do you know how easy you could buy off every prison guard if you got $1 billion? That dude's going to be getting laid. He's going to have chicks in there giving him back massages. Guards will be waiting on him hand and foot. Shit, I would be. If I was a prison guard in there, I'd be hooking CZ up, man. For real. So yeah, the guy, the man who facilitated the payments for the Steele dossier, Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, is now bringing charges against CZ. And you expect me to be, this is the CCP, man. He's the bad dude. Yeah. What CCP? Dude, the cops that were running the Chinese police stations in America were out on bail the next day. Name one person you know from the CCP that's been taken down. You think CZ is going to be their sacrificial lamb? If he was this big, mastermind behind this giant Chinese Communist Party money laundering operation? Hell no, he wouldn't. He wouldn't be spending a day in prison. He wouldn't even be getting charged. None of them get charged. They never charge the bad guys, folks. At this point in the game, you have to assume if they are being targeted by the United States government, they are on our side. Just like the rest of them. But that is all the time we got over here on the Ryan Matta Show. I just threw this one together for you guys. I wanted to stop in and say what up. Hopefully you guys have a great Thursday morning and you guys continue to crush it out there. We'll be live over on LFA TV today at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come join us. God bless each and every one of you guys. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic day and you are stacking that Bitcoin just like myself. God bless you guys. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Run.